to get that this the paper is about the is researching on the relationship between the taxes set by the regulators to minimize pollution and control the and to achieve the environmental goals. And with the technologies set by the firm, chosen by the firms to minimize their cost. In the past several years, considerable emphasis has been placed on the stimulating adoption of clean technology by pollution firms. As I said before, it's accompanied by increased use of taxes to limit industrial pollution and achieve environmental goals. For the firm, they will face the technology choice. Generally, it can divide into types of technologies: a cleaner technology and a detail technology. A cleaner technology has lower marginal cost but higher fixed cost. A detail technology has a higher lower fixed cost and higher marginal cost, but the firm had to face the subject to replace their existing production process with new inherent cleaner process, or keeps their existing production process and simply add on pollution treatment equipment. Usually it has two possible sequences. The traditional one is the regulators move first and the firm following. In this paper, they wanted to say what's wrong with the firms move first, but the regulators following. When made a policy, the regulators has three main complexity, as it said: asymmetric information about firms' control costs, the imperfection in the product market, and low convexity in the damage from pollution. Now we say the assumption: if the regulator has perfect information, what's wrong with the firm's behavior? Also in two types. When the regulator moves first, a range of emission levels cannot be attainable. But when the firms move first, it can reflect the actual behavior of the players. Now we see the same model for the firms. We assume that the total cost of a banking emissions is approximately equal to the fixed cost plus the variable cost for technology I. And we can get that, as I said before, the K1, look this graph, the K1 is bigger than the K2, means that the cleaner technology fixed cost is bigger than the detail technology cost. Obviously, Xi means that the maximal emission by technology I. Obviously, we can get the technology 1 is smaller than technology 2. The variable cost is the same one. This is the firm's total cost, means that total cost equals to the total cost of a banking emission plus the taxi cost. We put these first equations into the firm's total cost and get the to get the first order of condition, we can get the relationship between the emissions, the maximal emissions, and the taxes. When the taxes go up and the emission will go down, if T is smaller than tau 1 and the emission the first order is smaller than 0. from this graph, we can say that if the tax is smaller than t hat, the total cost of T1 is bigger than T2. If the tax is bigger than t hat, the total cost of data technology is bigger than the cleaner technology. But if t is equals to t hat, there is no difference. Now we will see the regulators. The regulators, the social cost is approximately to the total cost of abating emission plus damages. We assume that the SI star is the emission level at in here. The variable cost is equals to the damage cost, and from this graph, we can see the red point. The two red points is when the variable cost equals to the damage cost. From here we can say that S1 star is smaller than S2 star. The first best outcome occurs when the firm adopts the technology, the cleaner technology, and it will emit S1 star. The second best outcome will occur when the firm adopts the detail technology. Now we will say the game. Game one is the regulator moves first, so we can. The regulator is first to minimize social cost. Then the firm's this is the firm's best cost. The first best outcome is usually largely equilibrium if and only if T1 star bigger or equal to T hat. But if T1 star smaller than T hat and T hat smaller than T2 star, is the first best outcome is not obviously to be attained. This is the next game if the firm go first and what's wrong with the regulator. If firm will face the problem to minimize their costs, and the regulator will do the respective test. In this game, the first best outcome is the large equilibrium. So, from these two games, we can guess that if the firm moves first, the benefit is obviously it can determine whether the first best or second best outcome realized or not. But if the regulator moves first, the benefit is not obviously. This is my conclusion. When the regulators moves first, the firm will consider the taxi payment. It will cause a divergence between the technology preference of the firm and those of the regulator. Also, the discontinuity in emission when the regulator moves first is severe in where difference in marginal investment between technology are very large. So, in my opinion, firms move first is best because it can control the first and the second best outcome.
Okay, thank you very much. good work. Sorry? Okay, all this works. That was the hand. That was back. That is that is work on the towards people's eyes. Okay.